Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
General Hospital spoilers for February 2nd to 6th, 2026 anticipate Carly Corinthos Spencer being excited with Commodity and Drew Kane Quartermain being scarified about Commodity, but of course, he cannot say a word. As we always do on early edition day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week and also we will talk about what's coming the following week. General Hospital spoilers: Tracy Quartermain's heritages and a squatter at Drew Kane Quartermain's house on Wednesday, January 28th. We've notoriety interposing Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake. She's telling Gio this isn't going to work. I wonder if this is about them helping Tracy Quartermain get into Drew's house to get that oil and the rest of the Q heritages. She knows Drew is stuck at the sanitarium and Willow Tate is detracted. So, it's an impeccably good time to go over there, especially with the blizzard coming, indeed though the moving truck cancelled on her. Tracy is stunned by Commodity. She creeps into Drew's house to try and get as numerous of the heritages back as she can without the carriers. She finds notoriety squinching at Drew's house. And running into them offers some new possibilities and a new perspective. I suppose it's going to be Martin Gray because Laura Spencer Collins demurred him out and he's constantly beggared. With Drew at the sanitarium, I'm sure that Willow would be like, sure, you can stay then, whatever, at least for now. Also at Drew's house, Tracy is telling someone on Wednesday, just try and throw me out. That sounds like Commodity she'd say to Martin. General Hospital early spoilers: February 2nd to 6th. Carly thrilled and Drew alarmed. Soap Dirt GH spoilers: Charlotte Cassadine and Danny Morgan's secret mission during the Port Charles blizzard. Lulu Spencer is frantic and she turns to Nathan West for help. Lulu tells Nathan she needs him to help her track down Charlotte Cassadine. She told Lulu that she wanted to go check on the steed at the Quartermains, but that isn't where Charlotte went at each. Once Lulu numbers that out. And with the blizzard blowing by, she's going to be really, really frantic. It looks like Charlotte is going to get Danny Morgan to help her. Charlotte tells Danny that her pater, Valentine Cassadine, put his trust in a faithlessness snake. It sounds like Charlotte eavesdropping Nina Reeves talking to Jack Brennan really hit her hard. Plus, Carly Corinthos Spencer's courting Jack, so I wonder if Charlotte may feel like there's a chance Carly may betray Valentine as well. Charlotte's pop is upset. I suppose Carly is going to fill him in about Charlotte being missing. Of course, he knows the blizzard is coming. Valentine tells Carly that he needs to get out there and go find his son. But she's going to tell Valentine, no, you cannot do that. He's a wanted man. There was a spoiler where it said that his love for Charlotte and his need to cover her could be the death of him. However, that's going to be problematic and veritably parlous if he creeps around city in the blizzard allowing that he can get to her. General Hospital spoilers: Portia Robinson and Trina Robinson's conflict and the riddle at Windmere. Portia Robinson tells Notoriety that she's not going to let them ignore her any longer. I'm enough sure it's Trina Robinson. Portia understands Trina is frenetic, but it wasn't like she was just sleeping with some dude behind Curtis Ashford's back. Their marriage was functionally over, they just had agreed not to tell Trina yet. I suppose Portia is going to try to talk her son through that, but I suppose she's going to be stubborn for a little while longer. Jocelyn Jacks is saying, who would want to break in then in this rainfall? She's out at Windmere. She cut off the power and it looked like everybody was heading to the launch. Jen Sidwell and the others were going to all leave on the boat, but perhaps Notoriety stayed before and they're busting Jocelyn. A first kiss and Jason Morgan plays hero for Britt Westbourne on GH on Thursday, January 29th. Nathan West lets down his guard a little. I'm enough sure this is with Lulu when they get trapped at a cafe during the blizzard while they're out trying to hunt down Charlotte. Also, two people have a first kiss. There are many couples this might be. It could be Sidwell and Ava Jerome, or perhaps Nathan and Lulu. That would be hotter. I'd indeed take Carly kissing Valentine, that could be delightful. Plus, Cody Bell gets some news from Molly Lansing Davis. I wonder if it's about her love novel that's supposed to be get issues for them soon. Carly is on the entering end of good news. It could be about Charlotte being set up, or it could be about Britt Westbourne raging at Jason Morgan at GH. However, she'd be so agitated and may suppose, okay, if Carly hears that from Lucas Jones. Jason is done with Britt for good. Jason plays idol to someone. And I'm sure it's Britt. He's going to save her when the blizzard puts her life at threat, get her nearly warm and dry, and take good care of her on General Hospital. Admissions in the storm and the walls come down for Britt Westbourne. We wrap up this week on Friday, January 30th, with Jason connecting the blotches. During this blizzard when they're trapped, Britt's walls are going to come down. I suppose Jason's going to be suitable to get it out of her exactly why she's handling so spooked and from whom. The drug is one thing, but Sidwell killed Dalton right in front of her, and Jason formally suspects a lot of this. However, this is what I suppose is going on. She may confirm it, if he opens up and says. Also, Lulu confesses commodity. And this may be to Nathan while they're trapped together. She's in his arms while they're stuck in the storm. Perhaps it's to stay warm because they're wedged in that cafe with no heat, but they might just make their own heat. We could see Nathan and Lulu sparking since we got that first kiss spoiler. Carly has an offer for someone. Perhaps it's Valentine Cassadine. Perhaps she's going to go help look for Charlotte. Meanwhile, Rocco Falsaroni gets his passions hurt. This may be about Britt Westbourne shutting him out because of Ross Cullum, or it may be about his family Charlotte. Portia is also facing rejection, which is presumably from Trina. General Hospital February sweeps. Maxie Jones returns and a homage to Luke Spencer. The week of February 2nd through the 6th is the first full week of February reaches. Effects are going to be moving presto. The walls are going to close in on Michael Corinthos once the ice from the storm melts down. Will Dante Falconeri push back on DA Justine Turner regarding erecting a case against Michael since she truly believes that Willow's shamefaced? Jocelyn makes some shocking discoveries. She's out on Windmere hoping to head under the house into the vault. I wonder if she finds Anna Devane or if she'll be caught. By the way, the B-roll of Windmere shows it looking like a big English manor house, like Commodity from a puritanical drama. When we've all seen Windmere, it looks more like the Hogwarts castle than it does Downton Abbey. They've changed it into this big Georgian facade, which is veritably crazy. Valentine meets with Sidwell on General Hospital. Also, Sidwell gets a chance to talk to Valentine soon. Carly keeps pressing Jason to write Britt off, while Jason is working hard to figure out a way to get Britt out of the mess that she's in. Lulu and Nathan continue to get pulled closer together. That may leave them confused when effects get messy the following week and Maxie Jones wakes up from her coma. Look for a really cute short new haircut when Kirsten Storms is back on our defenses. Also, Nina opens up to Ava. Drew is in for a rude and scary awakening when Willow takes him home. And he may be absolutely alarmed of his woman. Sonny Corinthos fights for Michael and keeps trying to frame Sidwell. Eventually, on Friday, February 20th, there's a special occasion devoted to the iconic Luke Spencer. General Hospital recap for Thursday, January 29th, reveals that Danny Morgan and Charlotte Cassadine kissed while Nathan West told a suspicious story. Britt Westbourne also revealed to Jason Morgan after a deliverance, so then's how Thursday's GH occasion played out. At Drew Kane's house, Martin Gray criticized Tracy Quartermaine for ruining his relationship with Lucy Coe, but Tracy allowed. Martin was better off without her on with his horrible ex-wives. Tracy conceded that her own love life had been full of crimes, but also she set up Commodity Special with Luke Spencer and fought for it. Although Tracy suggested Martin was an easy mark in connections, he acted like he was stalwart about putting his heart on the line than Tracy was. At the Quartermaine forces, Molly Lansing Davis checked her emails after a round of passion with Cody Bell. That led to Molly realizing Christina Corinthos Davis went behind her reverse and submitted her handwriting to Molly's old erudite agent, who loved the Western frontier love and allowed. It could lead to a multi-book deal. Cody allowed. This was great news, but Molly played down her jotting as a hobby horse and detracted him with another passionate hassle. Once Molly was asleep, Cody came back down and saw that Outback had knocked over Molly's stuff. Cody wound up chancing the handwriting called Laredo Sunrise and settled in a president to read it. After Jason saved Britt choppy waters and a sinking boat, he brought her to the harbor master's office. Shivering Britt marveled over Jason chancing her, but he claimed he always would and helped her warm up by the fire. Latterly, Britt was wrapped in a mask and got all kittenish by suggesting that was one way to cure hypothermia. It sounded like Britt and Jason had done some sizzling out screen. Jason ultimately made another plea for Britt's trust since he wanted to help her. Britt admitted she'd been forced to work on Caesar Faison's final design, or differently they would let her die of Huntington's complaint briskly. Jason claimed that Britt had to tell him who they were, so Britt had a big decision to make. Meanwhile, Danny took Charlotte to the Quartermaine gatehouse since they couldn't get to Carly Spencer's place in the snow. Charlotte texted Lulu Spencer about being safe with Danny at the Quartermaine hearthstone, so Lulu was relieved and bare the word to Nathan at Bad Gen Cafe. Lulu set up some booze, so she suggested playing two trueness and a taradiddle. Nathan got on board and shocked Lulu when one of his trueness was being suitable to recite the entire periodic table from memory. After Nathan mentioned his father forcing him to do it, Lulu was confused because he preliminarily said his pater didn't pay important attention to him. Nathan explained that his father indeed didn't have important use for him since he was espoused. Still, Nathan's memory was good and his father was into colorful businesses, so he said his pater tried to get him into wisdom-related effects, hoping that it'd be useful. Nathan suggested that once his father realized he couldn't do important besides study information, he was done with him. Lulu was burdened over the way Nathan had been treated and thanked him for helping search for Charlotte. Nathan said he wanted to be the man Lulu saw him as, which led to them making out. Back with Danny and Charlotte, they clicked over mores and complicated situations involving their daddies. Charlotte also thanked Danny for getting her to safety and wiped the chocolate from the corner of his mouth. Danny touched Charlotte's hand tenderly, which led to the teens leaning in for a kiss. At Carly's house, Valentine claimed on going out to look for Charlotte, but he too returned snappily since he couldn't see anything in the snow. By also, Carly had her fleece on and was ready to come after him following Lulu's Charlotte updates. Valentine was relieved over Charlotte being safe and wondered why Carly was willing to risk her life to come after him. Carly conceded that she knew what it was like to lose a parent and a child, so she didn't want either of those effects to be for Valentine and Charlotte. Carly and Valentine were starting to have new opinions of each other, so stay tuned to see where their bond will go from then. Port Charles was holding its breath as the first week of February unfolded. Snow piled higher and higher, streets were slick with ice, and the wind whistled through the city like a herald of chaos to come. Every home, every mansion, every corner cafe became a place where secrets collided, hearts were tested, and loyalties were questioned. The blizzard was more than just a storm, it was a crucible, forcing everyone to face truths they had long avoided, to make choices under pressure, and to confront the consequences of the lies, betrayals, and desires that had been simmering for months. Carly's thrill and Drew's terror. Carly Corinthos Spencer's world began to spin in anticipation. Something had happened, news, confirmation, a revelation, that sent her heart soaring. Her joy was infectious, but it contrasted sharply with the terror that gripped Drew Kane Quartermaine. He sat in the hospital, paralyzed by what he knew but unable to speak. Every glance, every movement of those around him reminded him of the precarious situation he was in. He was trapped by circumstances, bound by silence, haunted by truths he could not voice. Drew's fear was suffocating, Carly's exhilaration was liberating. The city outside mirrored their inner storm, beauty and danger intertwined, promising that nothing would remain the same by week's end. Tracy Quartermaine's heirlooms and a squatter. At Drew's house, the blizzard already threatened to isolate the property, blocking roads and cutting off communication. Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake had braved the storm, prepared to assist Tracy Quartermaine in reclaiming her heirlooms, including a priceless painting and other Quartermaine treasures. But before they could even get started, an unexpected interruption changed the plan. Someone stepped forward, insisting their help wouldn't work, signaling potential danger, and the possibility of new alliances. Tracy, ever determined and unapologetic, crept into the house herself. With Drew hospitalized and Willow distracted, the timing seemed perfect. Yet inside, she discovered a squatter, someone occupying the house in ways neither expected. This uninvited guest could alter Tracy's mission entirely, offering fresh perspectives, challenges, and possibly, alliances forged in necessity. Martin Gray, perhaps, after being evicted by Laura Spencer Collins, had nowhere else to go. Drew's temporary absence and Willow's distracted attention gave Martin a window, one Tracy would not ignore. Tracy, bold and brash as ever, challenged him, "Try and throw me out." Her words carried the sharp edge of confrontation, the implicit warning that she would not be intimidated. In this frozen landscape, even the smallest act of defiance had consequences, and every word was a test of resolve. Charlotte and Danny, a secret mission. Meanwhile, the storm amplified anxieties elsewhere. Lulu Spencer, frantic and desperate, sought Nathan West's assistance. Charlotte Cassadine had gone missing, and Lulu's concern escalated into panic. She had originally intended to check on a horse at the Quartermain stables, but the trail revealed something entirely different. Charlotte was not where anyone expected her to be. Charlotte, resourceful and determined, enlisted Danny Morgan's help. She had discovered betrayal, evidence of trust shattered. Valentine Cassadine had been misled by someone close, a backstabbing traitor who had exploited confidence for personal gain. Charlotte had overheard Nina Reeves speaking to Jack Brennan and knew that deceit could hide anywhere, even among those she trusted most. The young Cassadine realized that Carly, dating Jack, could theoretically act against Valentine's interests, and she felt the weight of responsibility to protect her father. Valentine, consumed with worry for his daughter, wanted to venture into the blizzard himself. But Carly, calm yet authoritative, held him back. "No. You cannot do that," she said, her words firm. She reminded him that his status and notoriety made the risk mortal. One misstep in the snow could mean disaster. Her voice was both encouragement and warning. Protect yourself to protect her. Carly's insight, hard-earned and compassionate, forced Valentine to confront the balance between love, duty, and survival in ways that left him re-evaluating his every instinct. Portia and Trina, conflict and confrontation. Back home, the storm was a metaphor for familial turbulence. Portia Robinson confronted her daughter, Trina, refusing to allow silence or distance to dictate the terms of their relationship any longer. She sought to explain, gently at first, then with increasing urgency, the circumstances surrounding her marriage to Curtis Ashford. Portia emphasized that the marriage's collapse was not due to infidelity in the conventional sense. The lines had blurred, choices had been made, and timing had been cruel. Trina, stubborn and emotionally raw, was unyielding. She argued, she accused, she tested her mother's patience. But beneath her anger lay a desperate need for truth, clarity, and acknowledgement. Portia, vulnerable and regretful, laid her heart bare, explaining how past decisions had been made with the hope of preserving family, of providing stability in a life that had been anything but stable. Their conflict was both an angry storm and a baptism of understanding, a painful but necessary confrontation that promised growth and the potential for healing. Jocelyn Jacks and the Windmere Mystery. At Windmere, the blizzard created isolation and suspense. Jocelyn Jacks, determined and defiant, ventured into the sprawling estate, cut off from power and surrounded by shadows. She sought entrance to the catacombs, driven by curiosity and necessity, only to be startled by movement in the darkness. The figure revealed himself to be Ross Cullum, masquerading as Matthew the caretaker. Jocelyn, quick on her feet, concocted a story about being caught in the storm while attending a blizzard bash on nearby Porter Island. She feigned innocence, hid her true intentions, and played the role of a naive student. Cullum, ever perceptive, did not fully believe her, his gaze assessing, probing, and challenging. Candles were lit, a fire burned, and brandy was poured. Words were exchanged, polite on the surface but laden with suspicion, half-truths, and careful deception. Every smile, every gesture was a potential trap or revelation. Jocelyn's courage was tested, Cullum's suspicion sharpened, and the storm outside mirrored the storm of secrets within the manor's walls. First kisses, confessions, and the heat of the storm. Meanwhile, romantic sparks ignited despite the chaos. Nathan West and Lulu Spencer, trapped together in a cold cafe, found warmth not just from blankets but from each other. Confessions came easily when survival pressed close, fears, regrets, and undeniable attraction spilled into words and gestures. A kiss, the first of many, perhaps, sealed a connection forged in crisis. Elsewhere, other first kisses teased the air. Ava Jerome and Jen Sidwell might ignite, Carly and Valentine might share a moment of passion and understanding, and the storm itself became a backdrop for intimacy, revelations, and the undeniable truth that extreme circumstances brought hearts closer together. Britt Westbourne and Jason Morgan, rescue and revelation. On the icy waters, Britt Westbourne faced mortal danger. Forced to work on Caesar Faison's final project under the shadow of Sidwell's manipulation, she was trapped, isolated, and vulnerable. Jason Morgan arrived as a hero, pulling her from peril, warming her in the harbor master's office, and offering protection. In the safety of the fire's glow, walls began to fall. Britt confessed the full scope of the threats she faced, the coercion, the lethal stakes, the shadow of Dalton's death, the threat to her health and autonomy. Jason, relentless and calm, urged her to speak, to trust him with the dangerous truths she had carried alone. Each word she spoke was both a warning and a plea, filled with the tension of lives imperiled and the power of honesty in a moment of survival. Danny and Charlotte, trust, s'mores, and tender moments. Charlotte Cassadine and Danny Morgan, stranded together, found small joys amid fear. They shared s'mores, tended fires, and discovered closeness forged in the crucible of survival. Each gesture, a wiped corner of chocolate, a touched hand, carried weight, emotional resonance, and the promise of burgeoning love. Even in a city beset by ice and deception, human connection found a way to shine. Rocco, Portia, and emotional crosswinds. Not everyone found warmth. Rocco Falconeri wrestled with feelings of exclusion, unsure of where he belonged in the shifting dynamics around Charlotte, Danny, and Britt. Portia faced rejection, a painful mirror of her daughter's anger, forcing her to confront failure, vulnerability, and the difficult reality that love and family required navigation through stormy waters, both literal and figurative. Valentine, Carly, and bonds strengthened. Valentine's protective instincts clashed with necessity. His desire to search for Charlotte was tempered by the very real threat of the storm. Carly, experienced and resolute, guided him, offering perspective, protection, and encouragement. In doing so, the bond between them deepened, mutual respect, admiration, and an emerging affection hinted at possibilities for both safety and romance, even in the harshest circumstances. A blizzard of consequences. As the week progressed, each character confronted personal truths, threats, and confessions. Walls fell, trust was tested, hearts ignited, and danger lurked at every corner. Drew's terror, Carly's excitement, Britt's confessions, Lulu and Nathan's kiss, Charlotte and Danny's alliance, all were interwoven threads in a tapestry of suspense, emotion, and high-stakes drama. The blizzard, relentless and unforgiving, baptized Port Charles in both chaos and revelation. Encouraging words, passionate confessions, and angry threats punctuated every encounter. Every character faced decisions that would shape not just the outcome of the storm, but the very fabric of their relationships, alliances, and futures. By Friday, February 6th, the city had been tested, secrets had surfaced, and the storm had done its work, washing away facades, revealing truths, igniting passions, and leaving every inhabitant of Port Charles forever altered, baptized in fire, ice, love, and danger.